Welcome to the Heart of Success, where we redefine success with Larisa Vakulina, a multi-awarded entrepreneur, healer, and mentor. Feeling unfulfilled despite your achievements? Larisa knows your journey. Each week, she shares powerful insights to help you blend professional success with personal fulfillment. Through her unique blend of business strategies and spiritual principles, you'll discover your true self and build a heart-aligned life. Ready to transform your life? Tune in and let's get to the heart of success.
Hello, everyone. Happy Wednesday. You are on the Heart of Success show, and I'm your host, Larisa Vakulina. I go live every Wednesday at 2 p.m. South Australian time zone. And here on this show, I'm sharing with you different tips, tools, motivation, inspiration, how you can build your life with a holistic success and just pass through all the hustles of the conventional success and live your life with happiness, fulfillment, and joy. Today, I have a very, very, very special guest for you. You're going to be blown away by this lady. She is a distinguished life strategist. She's a clarity messenger and a state of mind specialist with over 26 years of experience guiding individuals towards holistic success. So we are on the same page. We're passionate about our topic. So throughout her illustrious career, Nancy has empowered over 10,000 clients, including C-suite executives, mid-level managers, and business owners to navigate the intricate balance between professional achievement and personal fulfillment. So today we're going to really change your life. We're going to share with you a different approach to success, because most of the people are caught up in running success race and really forgetting about that internal feeling of their happiness and fulfillment. So today, Nancy is going to share with you her own a personal experience of moving through the hardship and challenges of life, and also how now she's guiding a lot of successful people to do the same. She's closing that gap between that professional achievements and the personal happiness. So Nancy, can you please share with us what inspired you behind your journey as a life strategist and state of mind specialist?
First and foremost, thank you for inviting me today. It's my honor indeed. Well, I've been there once upon a time too. I am, just like many of us, described ourselves as a high-performing professional, all right, or high achievers. That means we go for our goals, we set a goal and then we stay on the path, and whatever it takes for us, we get there. That is great, right? It is important that we stretch our potential and fulfill our heart desires. However, sometimes we become too focused that, what I always call it, like a horse wearing blinkers. So you don't see anything else, so-called, except in front of you. While it sounds all good being focused, but being a human, it is way more than just fulfilling that goals, because it is not linear. It is not a straight line. It is not like, producing a mark. It's not straightforward like that, right? Okay. So we have our spiritual self. Yes. We have many different roles that we play, right? And so often this may be overlooked or even altogether not even entertained. So when that happens, all right, that we are so focused on only one thing, or fairly much one thing, other aspects of our life will fall to the sideways.
Absolutely.
Yes. And one of the things that can fall to the sideways is our health. Yes.
I know too well about it. Nancy, tell me more. I mean, I've been there myself in a very, very deep illness crisis and all the other crises. So I know exactly what you're talking about, but I think we really need to share with other people, because some of
Mhm.
really successful people, they are still running that race and they don't really see that yet. And I don't want them to see it. So we are here to share with them that painful
Now,
state.
technically speaking, unless somebody is born with a health ailments, all right, for example, somebody born with a hole in the heart,
Yeah.
born with some kind of, rare, kind of disease, all right, unless somebody's born with that. If we are not born with any health ailments, I personally believe, and it's not a personal belief, although I express it that way, it is a fact that our body is born robust, strong,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Mhm.
to keep us going for a long time.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
the big but, when our life is not going the ideal way, all right, then something will give way. How does that happen? In the most simplistic understanding, right, our brain produces natural chemical. So how does this natural chemical comes about? Whether it's good chemical or bad chemical,
Mhm.
it's from the way we think.
Mhm.
From the way we think then it goes into the way we feel. So in the most simplistic understanding, feel good, good chemical, feel
Yes.
bad, bad chemical.
Mhm.
Therefore, when our brain produces good chemical, so we are, really robust and born to last, and we are healthy, good to
Mhm.
go at any one time. But when our brain start to produce bad chemicals, then it will attack our organs, our systems, and perhaps, our new cells. We always have new cells growth, obviously, but, granted at a different period of time. Then the new cells grow may not be such ideal cells. So not
Mhm.
cells.
Yeah.
So therefore, accumulation of not so good cells can then become cancerous cells.
Yeah.
The
Absolutely.
most simplistic thing to understand that. So
Yeah.
therefore, our health can be taken a toll, and then of course, relationship with our family, or friends, or even with oneself.
Mhm.
Right? What a typical thing that a lot of these high achievers, high performing professionals, all right, they actually have all the success under the sun. Okay, call it the power, the title, the money, the everything. All right, that they have, but yet they feel the void, the
Absolutely.
emptiness, but they
Mhm.
cannot even put their finger down as what it is.
Yeah.
Because if they're going to start talking about it, then it sounds they are very ungrateful.
I know.
Got everything, you know what I mean? You've got everything. What you complaining, right? But it
Absolutely.
is still real. They are not feeling good within,
Yeah.
emptiness. And they wake up to, okay, sure, the crazy rat race and go, 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 go. But at the end of the day, for what? Sure,
Absolutely.
wealth is important. Sure. All right. I've never not say important, but that can't be the only thing. But after you have built your wealth, adding another zero does not make a person happier.
No. That's it. This is the paradox we live in, right?
Yes.
And that's
Yes.
what are really happening everywhere, where we still living in this space of competing. We want to, climb that ladders and just want to achieve all these ticks. We put ticks
All
for the roles and
right. Yes.
positions and how much money we earn and things. It's like for me, I lived it. I always felt something is missing, but I
Correct.
never paid attention to it. I actually turned away from it. And that's then accumulated into huge blow up, right?
Correct.
So,
Correct. Absolutely.
yeah. So I really would like to hear your story. Like you seems like not only through education get into that point, right? You have your own story behind.
Oh,
How did you understand it all? How did you awake and had the awareness of that, I need to look at these areas? beyond my success. I just need
Right.
to really look at that. Can you share that with us, please?
I'm glad it started early for me. All right. As I mentioned, I'm one of those high performers, all right, how those high achievers. So at a very young age, as like 25, 26, I already have achieved success for that as that young person. But then there was a health scare. There was a health scare. All right. At somewhere, I think 26 or 27, thereabout, okay, a cyst was discovered. And I went into denial because I don't want to have a pimple on my face as a teenager. How can I have a cyst?
Yes.
And this is in my womb. And that's not funny for a young person. All right.
Absolutely.
And that was so long ago. We are talking about 30 odd years ago. And so I was like in a denial, right? So when I was in denial for 2 years. Then after 2 years, I said, hey, let me not muck around. I went for second checkup. And by then, it has grown, the cyst has grown so huge. So huge. Yeah. Like the biggest abalone you can find in Australia.
Yeah.
We found there's a second one.
Wow.
Yes, exactly.
That's
That's like the feel good chemical, feel bad chemical. And I recalled at the time, I'm always angry. I'm always pissed off because how we want to get things done and kind of thing. So obviously my brain produces cortisol. So, no wonder that's growth. Okay.
Absolutely.
So thank goodness it was not cancerous, because at that point they said they cannot, it's not so advanced. So they are not able to tell if it's cancerous or not. They have to, remove it. Then they have to diagnose it. But in the midst of removing it, if they find that it's cancerous, they have to remove my entire womb. Now, at 27, you don't want to hear that. You know what I mean? So thank goodness it was not cancerous. And then it was good, it was benign. And that was my wake-up call. Yeah. So that's why I said I'm glad it came early for me at 28. And therefore that changed my path. That I became spiritual. And spiritual is not religious. It's not about religion. All right. It's about the energy, the universe, it got to be, much bigger than we know here between our ears.
Yes, absolutely.
More than our education and all that. So that I took on a different path. I still remember I went to Bali a lot. Oh, those days Bali was different. You're talking about 35, 38 years ago. Went a spiritual path. And in fact, I became even more successful after I became spiritual.
Absolutely, because that's how it works. When you connect to this field, when you feel the part of yourself as in a tapestry of the whole creation, and when you actually start to honor yourself, like you start to really deep in, get inside and say, okay, what do I want in my life? How do I want to live it, right? And that's where it is start to get more success. Well, that's, and then what happened next? Like you then look at writing book, or how did all of your stepping into the role of the powerful strategist, how did you start to do the life coaching or life strategies for other people? Is that happened back when you've been young, or there was some time?
So the approach become different. So it's not all about being so material. It's not, in that so-called, let's call it the textbook way of success.
Yeah.
But rather, like I said, in a more, not only just holistic, but in the sense of your being. Okay? Your well-being is the core of it all. Right? And then I always like to believe that the universe is always here to provide and support. You just get into this alignment. And it's not about being self-centered or about me, but how can I serve the greater good? Absolutely. So when that shift happens, that you're serving the greater good, all right, more happens. It's just so many people have talked about it. So until a person experiences it themselves, right? Like yourself. Otherwise, it's so hard to describe it in words.
I know. Yes.
Exactly, So things are more in place and the whole approach is different. There are more meaning, there are fulfillment. So one of the things, obviously, we have to look at first, what is our life purpose?
Mm.
And life purpose, A, can't be just to raise our family.
Mhm. No.
It's our responsibility. All right. Anybody's responsible. They have got a family, but it cannot be the life purpose.
No.
Life purpose can't be, being at the top of your game. That cannot be a life purpose. Right?
Mm.
Yes. Life purpose first has to come from values. Your
Absolutely.
values, your personal values, your core values. And then from the core values, all right, what I call it, the activities you choose to do.
Mhm.
So for example, I choose to be a singer. I
Mhm.
call that activity. But with my life purpose, that I'm using then this singing as a vehicle to
Yeah.
expound my life purpose. Or
Absolutely.
somebody could be an engineer, right?
Yeah.
Somebody can be a teacher, right? So the activity is what we choose. But there's no meaning. It's just a role if we don't have the life purpose.
That's it. Yeah.
So that's how I do my work with that life purpose. And that's still not enough. After a life purpose, and then you know how to expound it through inverted comma, the activity, the vehicle, we call that, then you got to go for the greater good of what I call the higher purpose.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes.
So when you're aligned with all these three aspects of it, all right, every day is rock and roll.
Absolutely. It's like you're right in the wave
Every
of
day is rock and
your
roll.
dream. Yes, absolutely. It is all obvious right now, but still, a lot of people are still not seeing it. They're not feeling it. They're not going through this transformation. They still clinging to that old paradigm of fearing to lose whatever they already get, and this is really like not serving them. It just stays as a barrier or the hassle for them to actually transform. So how
Exactly.
do you, I mean, I know you're working with the C-suite executives and the high profile people, and I found myself, because I work with the same type of clients, it is a little harder for these people to actually accept that they are missing something. I was there myself. I was missing something, but I couldn't nail it. I couldn't
Right.
really nail it what it is and how, yet alone to go and find some help. I didn't really, I thought that I'm weak if I go and look for help. And that's what a lot of successful people perceive, like they thinking they weak if they go and ask for help.
Right.
How do you navigate this type of things?
Usually,
Mhm.
just everything else, okay, is kind of interesting. Prevention is better than cure, but
Mhm.
most times it's not a case. All right, it's only when the person have the pain.
Yeah.
The pain could come from, example, anxiety attack, panic
Yeah.
attack,
Panic
right?
attack.
The stress becomes so intense, right? They're having this heart palpitation. They're going to the A&E often, but yet the doctor says nothing wrong with you, okay?
Yeah.
But they're getting all this of ailments, or they suffer from insomnia, eczema, hypertension. So something has to be no good first that happened. Then it's like, okay, now I seek help.
That's
It's
that's
not good.
that's
Yeah,
exactly
in the
how. Yeah.
case, right? So that's why they will come to me, and obviously, I would deep dive. The first thing we ought to do is to know the root cause,
Yes.
not a superficial thing. All right. Of course, all of us comes from different background, but nevertheless, it's universal that the root cause often comes from our childhood,
Sure.
not as an adult.
No.
Okay, unless it's some kind of trauma that happened.
Yeah.
Okay, near death experience, that kind of trauma, some sort. But otherwise, the root cause is always coming from childhood. And I'm not trying to imply that the childhood has to be bad or violent, not necessary.
Yeah.
Not necessarily that way. But because as a child, we are not developed yet to analyze.
Yes.
So therefore, whatever that we experience from the outside, Okay, some of things may have stronger energy than others. Of course, in this case, it's not the positive energy and has an impact on the child's vibration.
Absolutely.
So vibrationally, all right, the child takes that in. I call that it becomes a chip, CHIP, a chip, right? So of course, life goes on and you just go, about in life until something happened. It sort of trigger, all right, something happened as an adult, it triggered that chip, it triggered that root cause.
Yeah.
All right. And if anything else, as human being, of course, we are all human being, but I often tell my clients, I said, we are a spiritual being having a human experience.
Sure.
We are not a human being having a spiritual experience.
Yes, no. That's the other way around.
Yes, exactly, right? But because we are blessed to be on Mother Earth to fulfill whatever we are supposedly to fulfill here, all right? So therefore, having the human experience is good. However, that child does not know better.
No.
Because it's not, made to analyze yet. So when I deep dive into the root cause, then from the root cause, when the subconscious mind and the conscious mind, so-called, know where that comes from.
Yeah.
50-60% of it is kind of,
Yes, it's aha moment.
Exactly, the aha moment, all right? So for example, what the typical thing is I like to believe as all human, we are programmed fear.
Yes, fear.
Yes. Like I said, you look at animals when they give birth, they just give birth so naturally and quiet.
Yes.
Quiet, peaceful. Only human is like such a trauma.
It's a trauma for the mother and it's a trauma for the child. And then all this traumatic experience plays such a vital role in developing all of these limitations, the fears, the doubts, the things.
Yeah.
It's like takes all life to unravel all of these things, unless you guys meet Nancy or me. By the way, name here is not mine. I noticed it's my son's name there, but that's okay. Nancy, you continue to talk and tell me how can professionals identify and overcome feelings of stagnation or burnout in their careers? This is really very controversial for many people because a lot of people don't know how to identify if they burnt out or they depressed or they having these overwhelming feelings. They most of the people just are really confused about this state, and they just drag it forever hoping that it's going to go away by itself, but it never does. So how you look at this, and how do you recommend, and what you do with
Sure. As I mentioned early on, right? Often, right, I get into the root cause, and then it is coming from that child. All right. So all this burnout and all this is also coming from that root cause.
Yeah.
Because if you think about the work that we do, all right, we do the work that we know how to do. We are not doing work that we don't know how to do, right?
Yeah.
Just like somebody have got, say, fear of public speaking, or suddenly go into a panic mode. They're saying things, they're speaking of subjects that they know about. They can't possibly talk a subject they don't know about, right? So how is it suddenly, there could be a point that they just suddenly freeze, or they feel uncomfortable, or they become tense, or the workload is so much, they get burned out. Because think about it, how do you eat an elephant? You got a time. Correct? You got a time. We know that. So what is there to be so overwhelmed about? So the overwhelming is not conscious, it's subconscious.
It's subconscious. I know that's the reason we cannot access it. It seems like we cannot, but it actually sits on the edge. If we only have the intention to have this work, we can actually access it quite easily. I'm trying to work out all my display here, but Nancy, stay with me. I'm so sorry. This is the name of my son here for some reason. So I'm not sure why. And why it is back my colors, but I cannot read work out the name. Anyway, it doesn't matter. My audience knows me, and they will recognize. But the son was doing his own recording in my studio and changed the name, and I didn't notice it. Anyway, so yes, we talking about really deep issues, and we talk about the core root of all the conflicts, of all the suffering, of all the pains, of all the push and pull. Like we almost like going through the some sort of sickness of the barrier, and we pushing and pulling so hard. I don't believe that people are created to do this. We
Correct.
created to enjoy our lives and actually receive what the universe is bringing to us in a very relaxed state.
Right.
Right. So
Sure.
I know you've been in your work. You pay a lot of attention to boundaries setting, the self-care, and a work-life balance. And this is something that people know a lot. They talk about it. It's stylish to talk about all of these things, but do we really embody these practices? What is your approach about it?
Okay. One thing that we all ought to do, especially as we aged, we all, the only thing that we can do, I mean, all of us face is getting older. Nobody gets younger. So it's not a negative thing. All right. It is a positive thing. I love getting older. So in any case, the one thing that I do often, and I coach my clients, and whether, one-on-one or my group coaching, I said the one thing that we must do regularly is introspection, self-reflection. All right. I do quick self-reflection every night. Just a quick one, like what did I do today? Okay, for example, tonight I'm going to think about, okay, with Larisa, I just go through very quickly. All right. And to do that, just going through my day is just to have a check if there's something I need to do some correction. Right. You don't want to wait for days and weeks because you'll be forgotten. Right. Okay. So some correction. And then so therefore the next day, you become better. Right. Then on a regular basis, whether it could be a weekly or a monthly, depending on the person's schedule, then do self-reflection with your life purpose. Are you on track? Are you off track? You know how some of us get so busy, and then we just get off track.
Yes.
Right. And sometimes maybe we have a family member that is not well, or get caught up with some events, and then we just get, just go astray, so-called. So on a fairly regular, whether weekly or monthly, right, go check, do a self-reflection. All right, are you still on a path with your life purpose? All right, there's something that you got away from it, or there's something that you have added to it, or some adjustments, some amendments, because life is dynamic, it's not static. Yeah, we don't have to wait for the year end. Let's set goals for next year.
Yeah, that's how the common thing is. Like, let's have the new year resolution, right? It's like
you don't have to wait till then. It should be a regular basis. And of course we can. I mean, like tonight, in fact, not even tonight, already about 2 weeks ago with my group, we already started our goal setting for 2025. But then I'm looking at like the breakthrough. Don't do the same thing, increase the numbers or whatever. But what's the breakthrough that you want? So you know your life purpose, your higher purpose, but what's the breakthrough? What's your next?
Yes.
And next is not just about making the big bucks. I mean, if you want to, go ahead, that's fine, but it got to be a more holistic, a more comprehensive, and I always like to believe that, is that to serve others.
Absolutely.
So like my life purpose, is to serve with love and truth. So as to empower others to live their life meaningfully, purposefully, and in fulfillment.
Absolutely. Yes.
Beautiful. 9 out. That's what I do.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Yes. When we actually transform this energetic construct behind like racing after success, or we serving to achieve success with others together and serve them to achieve their success. See the difference, the energetic difference from just racing and doing and actually serving. So it's a really two different energetic background behind this concept. And
Correct.
that's where many people may be confused because they don't understand the energetic basis behind the actions and
Yes.
behind the materialistic expression, right? So
Right.
yeah, fantastic. I love that because this is really is something that we moving all together. The
Mhm.
transformation is already started. We all need to really pay attention to it because if you will be staying behind, well, the world is moving. A lot of awakened people, leaders, successful people moving forward with understanding the self better to tap into this inner genius and
Mhm.
start express it in a true sense of it with open heart, right? So now I would like to really ask you a practical tools because we talk about more about general concept and how the tendency of current world where it's moving
Mhm.
and how we understand these concepts and things. But let's move into the practical tips and tools and maybe methods wherever you have to share with audience, and also maybe you want to invite them into your, wherever on offer. I know you have books.
Yes.
I'm here. I'm going to share Nancy's website. Go there. There's a heaps of valuable things. You can just see books there. You can see programs and workshops and things. And she's amazing. Just go and check it out because you're really gonna be so surprised how she's approaching it all and how she can, in a simple terms, to explain to you how you can create holistic success.
Thank you. Yeah, as I said earlier on, first is the introspection. All right. So it's the self-reflection. Okay, you want that, that's already a very practical tool. And
Yep.
then next, all right, you need self-care. My self-care is number one, is above everything else because I said if I'm no good, I'm no good for anybody.
Of course.
Yeah. So I know why, yes, we talk about serving others and being with others, but we got to be good. So we got to be good as our self-care. All right. And self-care, obviously, very basic things, but critical. It's like, we already know what diet is. We don't have to go for a special diet, but we already know what's not good for us. Don't go there,
Yeah.
right? Knowing that sugar is not good, why go there? Why even do that? You know what I mean? We don't need to be a health fanatic, but this is you just jolly well know what's not good, right?
Yeah.
We know we need to exercise. Two very basic and you but critical, and you cannot remove this away from
Mm-hmm.
the body because
Mm-hmm.
the physical body is the vehicle that allow us to fulfill what we want. It's just like we want to go from point A to point B. We need a vehicle. Otherwise, we can't get there, right? So our physical body is our vehicle. Okay, so of course, the self care besides the food we intake and the exercise is here. What are you thinking about most times? And
That's
it's
it.
not just about positive thinking, negative thinking. Are your
Mm-hmm.
thoughts serving you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, are your thoughts not serving you? Okay, or are you getting too serious with random thoughts that are just random anyway?
It's like a clutter. It comes and goes. But we can train our mind as we train dogs. Like the mind can be trained,
Yeah,
right?
sure,
So
of
then
course.
we can start to really transform this cluttered thinking into much more positive, intentional, how you want to see your life, and that you can do it with your mind.
Yeah, I just had a client last night. All right. So he's quite a high position in the bank. And then he says, I've got mixed feelings today. He walked in, he's I've got mixed feelings today. I said, okay, tell me about your mixed feeling. He says, on one hand, I'm very pleased with myself that I cracked through some stuff that is tough, right? Because he's into this high net worth credit borrowing, stuff like that. Okay, so he has to crack this, but he got so pissed off with his boss. Okay, although he's high up there, he still have a boss. All right, that wants him to do XYZ instead of ABC and all that. So he got really pissed off. That why are they expect? How can a leader behave this way? And he went on and on about it. And I just sat there. I was very calm, just looking at him, just waiting for him to finish. And then when he's done, I said, you got careless. And he looked at me, what? You got personal again.
Mm-hmm.
You got careless as he became personal with his boss.
Mm-hmm.
You think your boss is trying to be funny with you.
Mm-hmm.
He's just doing what he's supposed to do.
That's it. Yeah.
So he's thinking, all right, it's like the boss is just trying to be funny with him, making life difficult for him. You get my point? So this is what I mean, is your thoughts serving you?
Yes.
So where did that come from? Again, childhood. Childhood, his parents was busy working. So he created a narrative in his head that his parents just did not
don't love him. Don't that's what parents always do.
Yeah, did not care enough.
Yes.
They care for their business more than they care for me. So he created a narrative. So although nothing bad happened in his childhood, but he created it as a child. So when he grew up as an adult, it's very easy for him to become personal with anything. Even when he drives on the road and somebody cut his lane, he get personal. It's as if that driver is trying to be funny with him because this is just how this person drives. I'm not saying it's good, but then he gets personal. So when I managed to check in with his thoughts, I went like, oh
yeah, it's like nothing. I mean, where we put our energy into just whinging and resenting and blaming and things, it's so much energy. It's a win. Instead of saying, you know what, that's okay, he's doing his own things, I'm going to do my things better, and I'm going to do my job. That's all.
You see, all of our feelings is coming from thoughts created in the moment. Created in the moment. So if we don't pay attention to some of these thoughts that are not relevant, you go away. Or we change the certain thoughts, like which I did with him. All right. Then he said, oh yeah, I just got personal. Actually, felt so peaceful. And he texted me after that when he left. He says, my goodness, I was singing while I was walking to my car.
Yes.
You see, just that shift itself, you can call that already a transformation. So these are stuff they do. And of course, the next thing is integration. One has to integrate personal satisfaction or personal fulfillment with professional success. All right. If you find that your professional success is really not giving you any joy for whatever reason, okay, I don't get personal with anybody here. All right, really does not. All right, even how you change your thoughts and all, it does not. Then it means there's no alignment, time to change. There's always something somewhere. I mean, I always say it's never.
That was my next question. Like, what are some key signs that indicate it might be time for career pivot or transition? This is something that you also can see in clients? Because sometimes people just so much struggling in their roles.
Yes.
But they just, this thought didn't come to their mind to start to look at maybe changing, because the fear of change is another thing.
So you see, I would say it's not about the job match. I'm sorry, it's not about a job description. Sorry, it's not about a job description. It's about a job match. Okay, so the match, be it the culture, all right, but your value and the organization values, right? The whole attitude, right? All that has to have a match. There must be certain alignment. Sure, we are all different in our own way, but there must be certain kind of alignment. But if there's no alignment and the gap is so huge, then it's really, you have to look elsewhere, because
That's it.
it's only going to make you sick. It's not going to get better. The gap is
No,
going to get wider, 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 wider. It's not going to get better. Yeah.
no,
So then,
absolutely.
of course, we all have our skills, right? Look into your skills. Look into, what's your next. We don't always have to do the same thing. I mean, I was just telling him too, the other thing I was also moving my client was like, to the next level. And I said, he says, I've been doing this for so long. All right. I said, yes, it's good to be vertical, right? But we can
Mhm.
also be vertical and pivot.
That's it.
For
Yes.
example, I've been a national swimmer, all right? I swim for the country, and maybe I'm even an Olympic swimmer. Okay, I won the Olympic gold. That doesn't mean I have to be a swimmer all my life, right?
Of
Yes,
course.
with my technique and my skills as a swimmer, how can I pivot? I'm not necessarily now I go do and become a F&B entrepreneur. No, all right, but it's still the same thing. How can I pivot?
Mhm.
Bringing the wealth, of the experiences and the skills and all of that.
Mhm.
So
And
I think a lot of people,
utilizing all the resources of the
yes,
past, but pivot
yes,
in bringing all of this
correct.
goodness and all the experiences into something new. It's such an adventure. The life is such an adventure. And why don't we just play? I mean, this is really is something, and especially successful people, they actually can afford themselves to play and see how much they can enrich their lives with just being a little bit more open to say, okay, everything is possible, right?
Yes, you're
Yeah.
right. It's already really about being open. So a lot of them will just drag their feet until retirement.
I know.
But then they wait till retirement. I mean, I don't
Yeah,
know why. You know what I mean? So
I know.
again, it's just really knowing how to pivot. Yeah, that would be.
Absolutely. Wow, that was really really good discussion here. And you see, guys, Nancy, she is so knowledgeable. She
Right.
is having these unique skills to actually go deeper into your psychology, into your spiritual being, into your skills that are here on the surface, and she can actually see through it, and she can start to really guide you through all of these little blocks and things that you may not even imagine that they exist. So you have your focus, like you said. I like that,
Mm.
comparison with a horse. And but really, go to Nancy's website, check it up. She's got beautiful video there. I was in love with this video. It really in 1 minute give a absolute clarity of what Nancy is doing and what she's capable of. And that's just brilliant, internationally recognized woman that work with high profile achievers with a performance and performance people, and she really fixed them. So if you guys thinking that it's time for you to start to look at your life and start to really pivot or have some sort of guidance and support, well, Nancy is your first stop, or maybe me. We both here to help you to recognize that success is not only money, roles, positions, and all the external symbols of the success. It's more that internal state of feeling and being. Because for me, anywhere I go, I take my holistic success with me. I'm always at peace. I'm joyful. I'm happy anywhere I go without being dependent on what's happening externally from me. And I can see Nancy is the same because she already achieved that success inside. She connected to her core essence. And that's what we need to learn from these people. We are, of course, surrounded by many, many coaches and mentors and you name it. There's so many experts right now. But what I believe is that we only can help the other person to the extent and deepness of what we helped ourselves, right? If we have the combined our formal educations, but the experience, this is really something that is very, very valuable. So Nancy, maybe we just have last question. You have your LinkedIn account and you have your other accounts, I think. I'm not sure, but so you have your books sold at your website or somewhere else, Amazon?
Amazon. Yeah, I have
Yes.
my book, Love Night is my first book, and then this is the Success Redefined with Jack Canfield. Yeah.
Right.
So you can go to LinkedIn, you just find Nancy Ho Singapore, you'll be able to find me. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
That's
it's easy.
fantastic.
Yes.
That's really good. So guys, really, I'm so happy Nancy been with us today live. I know probably not a lot of audience in the live, but this is now forever. It's going to be on my YouTube channel. Nancy probably will put on hers somewhere else. So please look at your life from a little bit different perspective. Success with external,
yes,
not all. And you wouldn't imagine the life when you connected to yourself. You will create the life beyond your imagination, like we did.
absolutely. Right.
So Nancy, I would like to say deep thank you to be with me today, and I hope we can get together again, maybe in 6 months, or maybe you even come to Australia. You come to my wellness center, and we can have the live, master class or something with you here. That would be really cool to serve people.
Right. Once again, thank you for having me. All right, it's my honor. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, guys, I'm going to put a little music I have. Let me see. My studio changed a little bit, and I am having a little bit of trouble to find all the things. Found it finally. All right, a little bit of short music, and we finish in our lives. Thank you so much, guys. I'll be back next Wednesday at 2 p.m. South Australian time zone, possibly with another guest or solo. It doesn't matter. We are serving here. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to The Heart of Success. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe and share it with your friends. Let's spread the word and help more people find true fulfillment. For more tips and resources, join Larisa's newsletter at larisavakulina.com. Stay connected, stay inspired, and remember, your success starts from the heart.